Kalgoorlie Boulder is the West Australian mining town with a larger-than-life reputation. In the gold rush of the 1880s, thousands made the long journey from Perth seeking their fortune. These days, Kalgoorlie is known around the world for its hard-working, hard-living and hard-drinking lifestyle. But that's starting to change. Charlotte Hamlin reports.
Kalgoorlie's Kalgoorlie. There's always going to be miners. There's always going to be pubs. There's always going to be skimpy as well. Let's hope so. But if not, look, the town won't be the same.
Wherever I travel, it's always referred to as, oh, that's where the brothels are, that's where Hay Street is, and that's where you've got to drink a hell of a lot to sort of keep up with the next door neighbour, which is not true.
The beer isn't flowing as freely at Kalgoorlie's iconic pubs. The brothels are closing, and the predominantly fly-in, fly-out workforce doesn't party like it used to.
OK, let's get into line.
Kalgoorlie has blossomed and it's gone in all directions. Everything changes to a certain degree, but I think the basics of family life still remain.
Betty Loxton has lived in the goldfields for more than 60 years.
And at the end, when you ladies are to do your pirouette and your curtsy, it's like a Mexican wave.
She teaches ballroom dancing classes and runs the only remaining debutante ball in Western Australia.
Put it down, lock, step, turn.
It's a touch of class in what's widely regarded as a racy, male-dominated town. Betty knows about Kalgoorlie's sexiest side, but has almost completely managed to avoid it.
One night, we were out at a function and we called in at one of the hotels, and I'd never seen a skimpy in my life. And I nearly died when I walked through the door, and here's this girl there with just about nothing on. And I said to my husband, "What did you bring me here for?" He said, "Just turn your back." And I did.
And she says she's been turning her back on that element of Kalgoorlie's social scene for the past 60 years.
It's a matter of choice. Those things have always been here. You do not have to be involved. It's like if you're watching something on TV and you don't like it, you turn it off.
Kalgoorlie's Mayor Ron Jurovich has been behind a push to steer Kalgoorlie away from its provocative image.
I can remember as a kid it was very much a male-dominated, hard-drinking, hard-working mining town as such, and certainly it's evolved into something completely different and something that's more acceptable obviously to the working public. Certainly it's changed, but it's changed for the better.
Mr Jurovich says he's driven by the need to make Kalgoorlie Boulder more appealing to fly-in, fly-out mining workers and their families, so they'll base themselves in the city permanently.
Unfortunately, they don't have a huge positive effect on the economy simply because they have their discretionary spend back at home in Perth or Busselton or wherever.
Miners have always driven Kalgoorlie's culture of grog, gambling and girls ever since Paddy Hannon first came to the goldfields, bringing can-can dancers up from Perth to entertain the prospectors. But with today's strict drug and alcohol testing by mining companies, and with a fly-in, fly-out workforce that tends to spend its cash elsewhere, the seedier side of town has seen better days. Kalgoorlie once laid claim to having the most pubs per square kilometre in the world, but now only a fraction of those remain. Venues like the iconic Exchange Hotel with its Wild West saloon are on the market and struggling to attract bids. Many behind the bar think losing the brothels and hotels would be to lose Kalgoorlie's character.
Tourists come from all over the world. I've dealt with people from Africa, South Africa, from Europe, from the UK, from Switzerland, from Germany, and it is insane that they're sitting down at the bar with me telling me, "I've come to see a skimpy from Germany." I was like, "Are you insane? You've come all the way to see a pair of boobs." What is going on?
Mercedes is the region's longest-serving skimpy barmaid. She's based in Melbourne but has been commuting to the goldfields for work for the past 12 years. She still remembers her first day on the job.
I cried all the way from Perth. I actually came down with a bus and I had called my boss at the time, Josie, and I said, "Josie, what is a skimpy?" And I said, "Well, there's two things that I don't do. I don't take drugs and I'm not a prostitute," because I didn't know what a skimpy was at the time. And she's like, "Oh my God, you're a crazy woman. Like, that's not even what it is." She
concedes she's noticed a slowdown in the town's drinking and partying culture. The bars aren't as full and the punters don't tip like they used to. Nevertheless, it's rumoured she makes up to $1,500 a day.
I realise I've been in town for 12 years. It must be a good place for me to come back. And I can tell you something right now, whether it's good money or not, I will always come back for them. But obviously, you do make enough money that, you know, you're more than happy to come back.
Instead of trying to revive the pub industry, the city is spending its money on new projects designed to attract a different sort of visitor.
Kalgoorlie grew up some years back. We know that most of the population who live in Kalgoorlie are women, boys and girls. So that whole notion of it being a man's town is nonsense.
Its big-ticket recreational project is a new $20 million grass golf course, which in a town dusted with red dirt certainly stands out.
We now have one of the preeminent, most important golf courses in Australia. It is truly an icon of the golfing circuit. And look, I've got to say, it is an absolute boon for Kalgoorlie Bowler to have such a facility that people can come to and enjoy.
The camp trying to clean up Kalgoorlie's image has attracted an unlikely supporter. Marianne Kenworthy owns what once was Kalgoorlie's most successful bordello.
Oh look, we're going to have a very elegant dark wood bar.
Now she's shut down the brothel and is turning it into a luxury hotel.
I sat down one night and did the facts and figures as a motel because I built it originally as a motel, and I thought, you know, I'm mad. You know, let's utilise this fabulous property and go with the times. It'll be very luxurious with proper table service, very comfortable seating, piano player for a couple of hours each night. You know, I'll be catering for the marketplace that have 2 or 3 drinks. I don't want a boozy bub.
She says while the new Langtrees Hotel will celebrate its past, a push to change prostitution legislation and the council's attempt to promote Kalgoorlie's family values mean it's no longer relevant or financially viable as an operating brothel.
So I came here 25 years ago, and about 15 years ago it started to substantially change, and I think it's wonderful for Kalgoorlie. I think it needs to be. I think they've got a very proactive council with some of the best facilities for a family town, but you shouldn't ever stomp on your history or hide it.
Mercedes says Kalgoorlie's Wild West reputation is something to be celebrated, and there's plenty of room for families and fun in the goldfields.
It is safe, and it is clean, and it is fun. We've got to stick up for Kalgoorlie, we've got to stick up for the Skimpies. It doesn't matter who tries to change it, it's always going to be the Wild West. Well, while I'm around, it's always the Wild West, but it's just on the hush, okay?
And I think it'll always be colourful. Charlotte Hamlin there.